AWSS3 Bucket. Description: Amazon Simple Storage Service. Amazon S3 is a service offered by Amazon Web Services, AWS, that provides object storage. Object storage is a type of data storage that allows you to store and retrieve data objects, such as files, images, videos, and other types of digital content, without needing to create file systems. Prerequisites: an AWS account is required to use Amazon S3. This account will provide you with access to AWS resources and services. You need an in-user with S3 access to manage the bucket and its contents. This in-user can be created with specific permissions to control what actions the user can perform. You can create an in-user through the AWS Management Console or the AWS Command Line Interface CLI. Use cases: storing data in S3 is a common use case, such as images, videos, and documents. You can use S3 to store large amounts of data for various purposes, like web applications, backups, and archiving. Hosting static websites using Amazon S3 is a popular use case. You can store your website files, such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, in S3 buckets and configure them to serve website content. You can use S3 for backup and recovery, storing data backups to ensure data protection and disaster recovery. You can configure your applications to regularly backup data to S3. S3 is well suited for data archiving, storing data for long periods, which can be useful for regulatory compliance or historical record keeping. S3 enables you to distribute media content efficiently, like videos, audio files, and images, across the globe, which can be useful for streaming services or content delivery networks (CDNs). Steps: to create a bucket, you can use the AWS Management Console, the AWS CLI, or the AWS SDK. You must specify a unique bucket name and choose a region for your bucket. You can also specify optional settings like encryption, access control, and versioning. Bucket policies define the access permissions for your S3 bucket, allowing you to control who can access the data in the bucket. You can create bucket policies using the AWS Management Console, the AWS CLI, or the AWS SDK. You can upload objects to your S3 bucket using the AWS Management Console, the AWS CLI, or the AWS SDK. You can upload individual objects or entire folders. You can access objects in your S3 bucket using the AWS Management Console, the AWS CLI, or the AWS SDK. You can access objects by their key, which is a unique identifier for each object in the bucket. Challenges and fixes. Data security is crucial for protecting sensitive data. You can encrypt data at rest using server-side encryption, which is a feature of Amazon S3 that automatically encrypts your data when it is stored in S3. Amazon S3 supports granular access control, allowing you to control who can access your data, using INC policies and bucket policies. Data availability ensures that your data is accessible when you need it. Using multiple availability zones (AZs) across different geographic locations provides redundancy. Amazon S3 automatically replicates your data across multiple AZs, ensuring data durability. Versioning allows you to track and restore previous versions of objects in your S3 bucket. This feature can be useful for restoring data to an earlier state. Data management helps you organize and maintain your data effectively. Lifecycle rules automate the management of objects in your S3 bucket. Based on rules you define. For example, you can automatically transition objects to lower-cost storage classes after a certain period. Delete objects older than a specific date. Tagging allows you to categorize and organize your objects in S3, which can help you find and manage data more easily. You can add tags to your objects, making it easier to identify and retrieve specific data sets. Cost optimization helps to manage the expenses associated with using S3. You can use storage classes to optimize costs, choosing the appropriate storage class for your data based on your access patterns and requirements. For example, you can use Amazon S3 Standard for frequently accessed data and Amazon S3 Glacier for infrequently accessed data. Optimizing object size can help reduce storage costs. You can compress or optimize your objects before uploading them to S3, which can reduce the amount of storage space required. Performance optimization can enhance the speed and efficiency of accessing data in S3. Transfer acceleration helps improve data transfer speeds to and from S3 buckets, which can be useful for large data uploads or downloads. Caching can reduce the time it takes to retrieve objects. You can use AWS services like Amazon CloudFront, which is a content delivery network CDN, to cache objects closer to your users, improving performance and reducing latency.